7 o'clock Wednesday night. Where else do you want to be, even on a fall break, than with us? Welcome into 615 Preps Live, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. Chris, Joe, Cam, Scott, and wait a minute, Isaac's back.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, I finally got you out of those classes you were taking.
Yeah, I'm just too smart. I think they just gave me a break.
Well, you're hanging with the wrong crew then.
Cam's here.
Correct.
Took all of a minute to fire shots, so we're kind of run on track to us. So week 8 in front of us, and fall break for a lot of schools, and a really light schedule to talk about, but we do have enough to fill out who you got. And we'll talk about 10 games a little bit later on in this show. Guys, how we feeling so far?
Tired.
Yeah, I mean, I said on my headline, calm before the storm. I think it's coming right at the right time for a lot of teams. Right before this last late regular season push into the playoffs, teams are needing a bye week to get healthy. Some teams are still trying to find an identity, and it's week 8. So got a long way to go still, but yeah, we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, it's really kind of been a strange year in for some teams that took some losses that you wouldn't ordinarily see, or actually are really putting up big numbers that we weren't expecting. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes the high school football, and that's why it's such a great sport. And I think you're right, Cam. I think this break comes at a perfect time for several teams in the area right now to get healthy and get right and try to refocus on what they're doing.
Yeah, you're talking about weird year. I mean, if I had to take one word, it's just confused, I guess. I mean, we did have like 1 week that I'm kind of just throwing out as far as results. Not throwing out because they're results, but that rain weekend, I think that messed up a whole lot of classifications.
Yep.
Last week there were some weird results. 5A Region 7 in particular to me stands out. I don't know what to think about some teams in there, but yeah, I mean it's fun, but just confused a little bit.
Yeah, Isaac, you mentioned a word in there that is going to be kind of a theme throughout this show: classifications. And Marcelli's comment, can't wait to your thoughts on new classifications. We're going to talk about those here in just a little bit. And as a matter of fact, we are going to go pretty quick in this first segment to get to that discussion. So let's talk about these new rankings, Joe. We'll start with the small class, and Westmoreland, the biggest jumper this week.
Yeah, took care of business against East Robertson on the road. Nashville Christian jumps out to number 1, probably where they should have been. If you look at talent-wise, it's hard to argue that they shouldn't be number 1. You have a quarterback like Jared Curtis, but East Robertson wasn't going to drop him too much, just a spot below Westmoreland. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Gordonsville back in the mix, following a big win over Forest.
Move on to medium class real quick. Page CPA still the top 2, Beach 3, FRA 4, BGA 5, and a big one Friday night between number 4 and number 5.
I'll be there Friday night as BGA host FRA. Already seen both these teams once this year, really impressed by both of them. So it'll be really fun, and BJ's already got their shot at CPA. FRA will get that shot later. So this is really a battle right now for the second seed in that region.
Yep. Let's go to the large class, and the usual suspects are still there.
Yeah, no changes here. Simple as is. All took care of business last week in big ways. Mount Juliet beats Antioch. You and I were there for that. Green Hill just keeps on rolling. Ensworth, big one this Friday against Father Ryan.
We're going, like I said, we're moving along pretty quick tonight. We're going to get to Player of the Week right now, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. So the finalists for this week: Carlino Barton from Friendship Christian had 343 rushing yards on 34 carries and scored 4 touchdowns. They needed every one of them because they beat Providence Christian 52-51 in arguably the game of the year to this point. Oakland's Kyler Creasy was a perfect 13-13 passing for 259 yards and 3 scores. They had a 42-7 win over Siegel. Lebanon's Harrison Edwards, 232 yards rushing on 17 carries with 4 touchdowns. Also caught a touchdown pass in their 41-6 win at Wilson Central. Kirkwood's Gavin Hunter, 4 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 tackles, had a pick six as well in their win over Liberty Creek 35-7. Providence Christian's Tate Marks, 15 of 27 passing, 371 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also had 9 carries for 61 yards. They were on the wrong side of that 52-51 game against Friendship Christian. And Hunters Lane's Isaiah McGill, 185 yards and 4 touchdowns on 22 carries. They beat Bradford 48-12. The fans voted for Harrison Edwards, but a lot of votes from Carolina Barton. So I'm going to start with you, Cam, since you had one of those votes for Barton. Why'd you pick him?
Because, I mean, hey, Friendship Christian's going to make a run at this thing to try to get back to Chattanooga. It's going to be on his shoulders. And for the first time this season, they gave him the ball repetitively. You know, he's been limited on carries between 10 and 15 a game. I think he had, 34 carries in this game, right about that. Averaging over 10 yards a carry. Just a great performance, and he's going to have to carry this Commander team if they look to get back to Chattanooga.
Joe, I'll give you the Harrison Edwards side of it.
Well, you know, Chris, I'm a man of the people, and the people and I just agree. It was between Carlando and Harrison for me. I thought Harrison, once Lebanon started getting the ball in his hands, good things will happen, and he really went off last week. I just, I don't know. I picked between the two, and obviously, as you guys know, I obviously hate small schools, so I went with the 6A school.
He admits it.
And Tyson threw a vote for Gavin Hunter's way, so he got one there. But with 5 votes, Carlando Barton gets Sellers Funeral Homes Player of the Week honors for week number 7.
Well
now
deserved.
on to Line of the Week, where the finalists are as follows. Friendship Christian's offense, we just talked about them. They had 527 yards of total offense, 456 on the ground, 71 passing, and as a team ran for 6 touchdowns in that win over Providence Christian. Gordonsville's offense had 415 yards, 364 of that on the ground, 5 rushing touchdowns in their win at Forest. Kirkwood's defense had 5 sacks and held Liberty Creek to 7 points. He won 35-7. Lebanon's offense had 266 rushing yards, 108 through the air, 5 rushing touchdowns. They beat Wilson Central 41-6. And then Westmoreland's defense that held East Robertson to just 6 points in that 7-6 win last Thursday night. And this was the closest vote we've had all year long for this award, and Westmoreland's defense barely holds on.
Wow.
A late search by Lebanon fans comes up just a tad bit short, but 39.4% of the vote. The Westmoreland Eagles defense takes home Line of the Week honors, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. So congratulations to them. And
Argue against that.
Really hard to argue against them. So let's hear real quick from those fine folks at Sellers Funeral Homes.
Doing something nice for someone, what a great idea, and Judge Sellers, owner of the Sellers Funeral Home family, is doing just that. The Sellers Funeral Home family, made up of 8 different locations, is proud to sponsor high school athletics throughout the Middle Tennessee area, giving back to the communities that have been so kind to us. That's the Sellers way. Thank you, Middle Tennessee.
Yep, as always, thank you to Sellers Funeral Homes for sponsoring those awards and this show. And I do realize it was quick to get to this segment, but because of the news that we got last night, and we wanted to talk about it, the new classifications, or at least the initial ones for the next 2 years, have been released, guys. And we'll go ahead and kind of start talking about those because there are some big changes.
I mean, the biggest, obviously, for our sake, is East Nashville, Pearl Cone dropping down to 2A. I still follow a lot of people out in West Tennessee, and you saw a lot of comments from folks out there saying, well, this side of the bracket runs through those 2 teams now, which there are really good teams out there. I don't disagree. I really think East Nashville was going to be a state contender next year, just with all the injuries they have this year. They're pretty young in spots, but now that they're down in 2A, I mean, good Lord. Then Pearl is Pearl. So, those 2 in particular, and then CPA being bumped up to D2 AAA is obviously a massive one. FRA and BGA really look like the favorites now to take home a gold ball next year.
And we're going to pull these up for just a minute as well to kind of get a view of how these are going to look starting next season.
Is it Liberty Creek moved up to 4A too?
Yep.
Mhm.
So, Cam, you did some preliminary regions, yeah?
Yeah, just on the 2A front, that's something that I was going to ask you off there if you wanted to try to work on something like that to put out. Be happy to try to help you out with that if it's something we look forward to maybe trying to release. But yeah, it's that sort of stuff's fun. This is kind of the fun stage because you think about all the possibilities. Of course, the window's still open for these teams to decide if they want to play up or if they want to stay down or vice versa and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean 2A, it's really really west loaded. So it could be um, wow.
I pulled these up based on the teams in our coverage area only. So I want to talk about that. It's 50 schools each in Division One classes all the way. It's even across, and then Division Two, Single A and Double A were evenly split, and then Triple A was decided basically by the teams that are there now, either choosing to play up or the success factor, which is only for that class and it only affects one team, as we'll talk about here in just a minute. Let's come back to our what we call our small class with 1A, 2A, 3A, and Division Two Single A, and definitely some notable changes here.
Yeah, I mean, me being a homer, I obviously went to see where Watertown was, hoping and praying to God that we'd somehow get out of the Alcoa Invitational classification, move up. But we had some other teams join us in the classification, which would be great for travel because right now we're having to go to Pulaski, which I don't know how TSSAA did that. But we'll get Westmoreland in 3A. That would be nice. Get a closer game maybe. And then out of our coverage area, Cascade, Forest also going to 3A. So that'd be nice. Maybe cut down on some travel at least. Jeez.
Yeah, 2A adds a couple of teams to it. Gordonsville moving up from 1A to 2A.
Yep.
And then East Nashville and Pearl Cone drop down.
Yeah, and you also have Cannon dropping down as well, so being the biggest 2A school. So you kind of got in 2A, you kind of got these pockets, and there's so many teams in these little pockets. It's going to be interesting to see if they decide to split those pockets up or if they all just overload a region with, as in my little quick predictions that I did, there's 9 teams in Memphis, inside Memphis city limits. So that's a 9-team region, the way that I have it. So you have only 2 games out of region. So it'll be interesting to see if they do that or if they split that Memphis region and join it with maybe a couple of those teams closer to the Jackson area, or even like Union City. Because Union City and Huntington are kind of the oddballs in 2A out west. They're kind of further away than everybody else. So they have a lot of conversations that are going to be had over the next few weeks trying to determine how these regions are going to break up.
Yeah. Well, the the good things that you get to see is that, I mean, you have a really good, what was always a meaningful game in County is now even more meaningful in this classification because Smith County and Gordonsville are now in the same classification. Pearl and East now in the same classification. It does make for some interesting stories in the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's a few out here that are pretty locked in. Like as Scott just said, Smith County, Gordonsville, go ahead and prepare yourself. That's a region game next year. They're probably going to have Jackson County and Monterey in there in that region as well. You can pretty much bank on that, I would say. But yeah, it's going to be the schools that are kind of iffy on which way they're going, east-west in 2A, Trousdale County, East Robertson. Those teams could go either way, deciding on how they want to break it up.
And I know it says of no surprise to anybody, I'm going to plead ignorance. I thought Innovation Academy was a private school, and they are not. They're a 1A public school, and that makes if there's another school in that region, surely there'll be a fifth school in the region that Red Bull and Springs is in.
Yeah, I would actually think that they would just replace Gordonsville in that region.
Yeah.
And that region stays a 4-team region more than likely.
Yeah, Innovation Academy is a public school. It's a magnet school up there in Springfield.
Hmm.
They play at the old Boy Smith Field up there in Springfield, in the middle of town.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that'll be their first official year. I mean, they're playing an 11-man schedule this year, as we've seen every week. They're kind of taking their lumps, but they'll be eligible for the postseason starting next year. Look at Division II Single A for just a moment and seeing the teams. Now, one notable absence there is Grace Christian. They moved up to AA. The enrollment forced them up to AA, and that's
rough.
yeah. They've not necessarily had the most success in Single A as it is. Now they got to move up, so
Right.
kind of a tough deal there. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and bring up those so-called medium classes, 4A, 5A, Division II, AA, where you see Grace Christian there on the right, along with Davidson Academy. JP2 stays, BGA, FRA stay, Good Pasture also stays. And another notable omission is CPA, which will be playing in AAA.
Yeah, and just real quick, I want to shout out Kirkwood, having a great year. Best, newer school, but there's a pretty good chance that they'll play up to 6A and keep that all Clarksville region going, as Clarksville wanted to do when they became a school. So no surprise there if they do choose to stay up in 6A.
Yeah.
Do you think that let's see, Montgomery Central, they were also considered a 5A? Is that right?
No.
No, Montgomery Central's in region with
4A. I'm sorry,
Carl
4A.
and
Yeah, 4A.
Yeah.
Did they play up
No,
at all?
they did
Okay.
not.
No, they just got stuck in a really tough monster region with 8 teams with White House and Pearl
That's
Cone,
right.
Station Camp,
That's-
Marshall County.
Yep, you're right.
Speaking of that, Station Camp, I believe, moving up, of course, from 4A to 5A as Sumner County continues just to go haywire with population.
Yeah, well, Station Camp's kind of going back to where they traditionally have been. They've been mainly the other. They were 6A at one point, but mainly they've kind of stayed 5A. But then they're going back to that
And
now.
I wanted to mention this comment on the show tonight. Somebody had a comment. I think I saw it on Facebook, but it was kind of a unique comment. We talked about Kirkwood playing up to 6A, so that way Clarksville has an all Clarksville region.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sumner County could, if they chose to, rezone the county and have Gallatin drop 250 or so kids and give those kids to Liberty Creek and Station Camp, and then you have a all Sumner County 5A region.
Or as Matt says, stop moving there.
That too.
Fair.
Just in general, stop moving to the state.
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. You're asking one school to basically give up a bunch of kids for a sport. So I don't think it's feasible.
Yeah.
Because I mean the other all the sports classifications were released. It wasn't just football.
Yeah.
Make that perfectly
Right.
clear. So it's different for basketball and baseball and all other sports.
Yeah, and I think the big difference is, Clarksville is in an area, especially in 6A, to where they're going to have, an hour drive regardless where they go. Whereas, Gallatin's 6A team, most of their region is in Wilson County, which is 25 minutes down the road.
Mhm.
So that is a big difference as well. So.
You always keep saying that they need to build a bridge between Mount Juliet and Hendersonville. They still haven't done it. So until that happens, I don't see a lot of that changing. But
What was the difference, the cutoff here, Chris? Because Davidson Academy was the smallest 2A school last year, and if I'm not mistaken, the difference between the cutoff between single A and double A was like 3 or 4 people.
so
Kids.
yeah, Davidson Academy was at 264. Nashville Christian was at 261. That's where the cutoff was. So I mean, they needed 4 fewer kids, and Davidson Academy is single A.
Wow.
And Nashville Christian could be double A in that case. So
And Davidson Academy, I mean, being a small school in 2AA, you don't have quite the same. You're not drawing the same kids. You don't have the same base. A lot of times the dollars just don't match up. That's rough to miss that by 4 kids.
Hmm. Yeah, it really is. I mean, the way it broke down, there were 21 teams in Class A in Division Two, and there were 20 in Class AA. So, like I said, it was fairly as evenly split as it could be. Now you look at the breakdown, like the numbers between like the largest AA school, Chattanooga Christian, 503 kids. Now there are 3 schools, Lipscomb Academy, Brentwood Academy, and Ainsworth, who have lower enrollments, but because of the success factor, they're playing in AAA. CPA actually had 515, and for the same reason, they're moving up. This is a success factor. I can't talk tonight for some reason.
It's almost like there should be a success factor in public school too.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Never thought about that.
I believe Georgia is actually considering that.
Because it's smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you are too good for a class for a decade, you need to move up. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are.
I'll go.
We don't care about the Lions. No, I mean it's not even just Alcoa. It's just I hate it. It makes no sense to me.
There's the grouping in 6A. Part of the 50 teams, there's half of them are in our coverage area.
Yeah.
People wonder why we cover.
I never realized how big Stewart's Creek was, to be honest.
Yeah, Stewart's Creek, actually, if I'm not mistaken, was the largest of our area teams.
Noah's comment.
And 4th largest in the state. Collierville, Bartlett, Snydesville, the top 3.
Yeah, Collierville's huge, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't hate Alcoa. I hate what they stand for.
I don't hate Alcoa. I just hate everything about them.
Don't hate the kid. I definitely don't hate the kids.
Yeah, no.
No.
That was a good song though by 3 Days Grace. I hate it.
Yeah, I never realized Clarksville's right there on the edge, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. The 6A 5A cutoff was Morristown Hamblin, the smallest, at 1,503. Whitehaven at 1,486 is the largest 5A school. So Clarksville at 1,549 missed it by about 60 plus kids, 65 kids almost.
CPA moving up. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think those kids will shy away from that challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat BA, they beat MBA this year. They're going to bring back a lot of kids next year, and Ingle Martin's got something that's really good there. It's going to be interesting to see him take on the likes of a Baylor or Macaulay, though.
I think it's good for the matchups around here. I mean, you have a natural rival in Ainsworth around the corner, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they already played BA and MBA.
CPA has made a name for themselves beyond this area. Now they get to do this on the biggest stage around in this area.
Now
I think that
Lipscomb.
I'm sorry.
We get CPA and Lipscomb again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love, it'd be nice to see CPA playing on ESPN, like some of those, or on some of those other platforms, and get those kids, national exposure, especially with so many of them playing downtown Nashville after last week. But I mean, really, this is a great stage for Ingle Martin to show off their program.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and Joe mentioned that Lipscomb Academy matchup that's coming again, and renew those hostilities ought to be fun for sure.
Not quite what it was, but still.
No, it's not. But I think that the matchups will still be pretty good because we had some absolute bangers when they played. Let's see. So, anything else that jumps out off the page that you guys hear before we move on to other things?
Page sticking in 5A.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did see a comment that said Southwind moves to 6A. I mean, that's kind of interesting, at least for Page's path to the playoffs if they stay in 5A.
Southwind would indeed move to 6A. Yeah, they come in, I believe, about the 7th smallest 6A school.
I'll tell you who that helps a lot. Beach Buccaneers.
Yeah.
The route to potentially Chattanooga for them next year, looking like it's the path may have got straighter.
Yeah. Pull back at 5A just to look who's in there. Yeah, Nolensville stays in 6A, but not by, or in 5A, but not by much. They're second largest now in 5A. Again, the teams in Montgomery County may move up and kind of shuffle some things around, though. So teams have until next Friday, the 18th, to declare whether they want to move up or not in Division One. So we won't see anything region-wise until after that point. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before we get those kind of in our hands. But it is definitely a lot to take in at this point with these numbers, and the next 2 years are going to be really interesting depending on how these regions fall, because it could really produce some new rivalries and it could renew some old ones, and it'll be interesting to see how they shake things up. Now, time for us to do the thing we usually do every week at this time and make some apologies. I decided I'm going to go ahead and go first since, I kind of had a pretty bad one last week with Gordonsville. And, Gordonsville. Let's talk for a minute. I've been a big proponent of the small schools, and you were always one of those that supported us. And lo and behold, what did I go off and do against you last week? I don't think of myself as an idiot, but in this case, I am one. And you can call me whatever you want to. I've been called worse. But I will be honest with you. I had a tough time wondering if I should pick you last week, and I went the wrong direction. Y'all are still a very good football team, and something tells me there may be bigger things coming your way before the season's over. I'm not making that mistake again for a little while. You guys deserve a little more respect from me than I gave you, and I'm going to give it to you going forward. Congrats on the win over Forest. It was a big one. Just say I'm sorry, and I'm back in your corner.
Gordonsville, don't worry. Me and Cam got you. Me and Cam are on your side.
Speaking of Cam, let's let him fire away.
Yeah. I'm nowhere near as talented as Isaac and Scott at these things. And let's just face it. I didn't have the manhood to pick you guys last week, just like I don't have the manhood to actually go commando to do this apology. So, but I apologize for picking against you guys last week. You guys found a way to get it done and put yourselves in a decent spot to make the playoffs. And you've proven people wrong continuously throughout this year. And hope you guys continue to make a strong effort, and we'll see you guys in the postseason.
I think Joe's itching to go next. I think he is. He looks like he's chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Not particularly. I'll keep it short and sweet. Sorry, Station Camp. I'm an idiot. Don't judge me. Buffalo and bison are one of my favorite animals. I'm stupid for picking against you. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry. My bad.
Wow.
For some
ripping
reason-
with sincerity.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think you meant that. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
I'm so sorry, Station Camp.
Order
So sorry.
in the court. Order in the court.
No,
Wow.
on the
Yeah,
real,
look at me tonight.
that was a bad pick. Station Camp looked really, really good last week, and they're getting better and better. So, congrats. Thanks for making me look dumb. I'm going to go make a bison burger now.
All right, Scott, your turn.
Oh, my turn. Gotta get solemn. Bruins, Brentwood, Bruin. From the Dutch, meaning brown. From Roman de Renart, Bruin was a bear that got stuck in a honey log. A hero of a bear, and you had a hero of an effort. Speaking of brown, I felt like something brown when I picked against you, but I was distracted by the young and shiny new team on stage, and it turned my head. I'll admit it. I'll have to bear it. I'm grizzled and tired, and I apologize profusely for picking against you. I should have known last year when you made my doggone cat apologize not to pick against you. But the one thing that I am truly happy is that Tyson isn't here. I apologize.
Yeah, you're quite fortunate he's not here, because he'd have been all over that.
You said grizzled like grizzly, and I almost made a comment but decided against it. A lot of bear puns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if Cam really would have gone commando, I would have had another one.
I would have quit.
Oh, Matt, really?
Yeah, same, Matt.
Encourage. Do not encourage.
Same, Matt.
I hear you, Matt.
All right. Now for the star of the show.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Before we get into the next segment, I believe I have some amends to make. Made a prediction on this very show last week. I'm not right all the time, but when I'm wrong, I think I need to make some apologies. Portland, hey, surprised me, threw that region into chaos, didn't you? It's not completely unheard of though. One team beating another team. It's not super weird, super conspicuous. That's what I thought. Then I did some thinking, just asking some questions. Portland, pretty unsuspecting name. Almost like that's what you want you to think. Henry County, county school. Sounds pretty American, doesn't it? This would be a theme. The Panthers, again, seemingly inconspicuous, almost a little too inconspicuous. And what is Henry County? The Patriots. Now, I don't know about you fine folks, but me, myself, I'm quite a patriot. And, after doing a little bit more research and scouring some totally not shady internet web forums, I've come to one simple conclusion. Portland hates America.
Hey Isaac, buddy, just wanted to check on you. How you doing? I know you weren't taking that loss very well. What are you doing?
What's next? Other Patriots going down? Page? Oakland? Huh? When are we about to step up to these commie Panthers, huh? What's going on? What are we going to do about this new high school football world order, man?
Do you know where he's getting any of this from?
Honestly, I think he's just on Coach T too much.
I mean, what's next? Trousdale County finally figures out how to play offense? This is unnatural. When are we going to step up for this country and for this sport that we love?
So many shots fired. Am you okay over there?
I'm good.
Wow.
Coach T is an interesting place.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh God. Ooh.
I think we need a minute after that.
I think we need a lot. There's a lot of things we need after.
No mentioning Hendersonville was one of the comments we got. Congrats, you won.
Yeah. Also, too, KJ apologizes to Father Ryan.
Yeah, you can't expect a beach
Yeah.
crowd to apologize to Hendersonville. Come on now.
Yeah, let's Let's think a little bit here. Anyway, it's time to make some more of these mostly good, but sometimes bad picks.
The small guy.
Well. What do we have here?
Devo.
Well, Thursday night special. Antioch and CPA, several games on Thursday. This is one of them. Antioch's schedule, guys, is just as brutal, and they don't get relief this week.
Wait, hold on. Were we not going to show the rankings?
The picks.
Yeah, what kind of crap is that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, just because you go down.
Order in the court.
Fraud.
Order in this court.
Fraud.
I will not.
Fraud.
Another outburst like that, and I'll throw you out.
Sorry, you can't be the champ. Weak.
This is really fun to watch when I have nothing to worry about because I'm at the bottom.
Yeah. Antioch, not
I mean,
there.
if you want to see them, fine. Here they are.
Oh, I'm not at the bottom.
There's last week,
You're welcome, Westmoreland.
Yeah, see, we all got Hendersonville wrong.
and now we're picking. Let's go. So, as we said, Antioch's schedule does not get any easier this week. They go to CPA on Thursday nights. It's just tough.
Yeah, Andre will find a way to make a play or two, but this CPA team is on a roll right now.
I just think CPA's defense is going to be the story here. I really think that CPA's defense is at another level, and I think that Andre Adams is going to find some difficulty finding some open receivers.
You know, watching Antioch play Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet wasn't insanely impressive at the beginning of the game, but towards the end, they just wore Antioch out. Andre was running for his life the entire game. He was making some stuff happen, but if that offensive line can't give him any time, CPA is going to have a field day with him.
CPA is one of the best 5 teams in the state right now. CPA.
Another Thursday night special. Brentwood Academy travels up I-40 to Knoxville to take on Knoxville Catholic.
BA's defense has kind of been the difference so far this season. Playing really well. I hate these glasses. I should have bought them. BA's defense is playing really well. George McIntyre not having to do as much, not having to play as much hero ball. I think they go on the road and they pick up another impressive win over Knox Catholic.
We know that Paul Wade is an offensive line guru. He's a genius when it comes to offensive line, but his defensive line is playing pretty well right now. That defense has got, they kept him in some games that, early in the season we wouldn't have thought they'd have been in. And, right now I think BA is playing at a pretty good level. I think Knox Catholic is reeling a little bit. And, I think this is the Eagles.
Another Thursday nighter up in Clarksville. Kirkwood in Clarksville for a lot of settle this region out. A lot on the line here.
I just noticed that Tyson picked Knoxville Catholic. That's funny. Kirkwood greatly improved from last year, but until you knock off the Kings of Montgomery County, I ain't picking against them. Give me Clarksville in a really good game compared to what they've played for most of this season.
I think this one's going to be a track meet. I honestly think that both teams really know how to score with the football. They're good in both phases of the offensive game, but I think when it comes down to it, the linebackers of Clarksville are just really too tough, and that they'll make the stops they need to win this one.
Yeah, complete opposite thought for me. I think the defense of both teams is going to shine more this week. The win that Kirkwood had against Rossview, the 12-3 win, that to me is a huge win for this team, and that's the type of game that this is going to have to be. This is going to have to be one of those just a dogfight type of game. And if it turns into a track meet, it definitely favors Clarksville.
On to some Friday games when we start with a big one up in Paris. Beach goes out to Henry County. These two teams have renewed their vows again and have put on some real barn burners in the last few years.
I don't think this game will be close. Lot of close scores here. I saw Beach just absolutely demolish Hendersonville, and I don't think this Henry County team's nearly as good as they were last year, the years prior. Beach has still got a very bad taste in their mouth after what happened last season against Henry County. And you get a rested Bucks team against a Henry County team that's kind of reeling fault after losing to Portland. So the Bucks buy as many as they want.
Yeah, I'm thinking Henry County might have a little bit more motivation after losing to Portland the way they did. But I mean, you said it, Beach, just the way that they have been on offense recently, absolutely unstoppable by most teams. Yeah, I'm just hoping that they can bring some semblance of normalcy to this region and just say, okay, this is the order, because I have no idea what to think about this region right now.
Yeah, chaos, right? I think this is going to be a close game. I think that I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I think Beach has enough offense to put them away, because Henry County's defense has not been playing incredibly well.
Yeah, Beach's defense is going to be the key here. If they play like they did against Hendersonville.
So we talk about their offense. We've talked about their offense all year. The one thing that's been steady for that team is that defense, and it doesn't get talked about enough. That's what, the big question that all the Beach fans have asked, if they're able to win this region, can they beat Page? Yes, you can beat Page, but if you beat Page, it ain't going to be because of the offense. It's going to be because of the defense, because you're going to win a 7-0 or a 14-7 game if you beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Davidson Academy travels to Webb School in a vital game for their region hopes. They want to avoid those really low seeds, and we've all got Davidson Academy except for Tyson, who's going with Webb here.
Two teams in desperate need of a win. Davidson got embarrassed last week against FRA. I think Davidson gets back on track here. Close game, maybe. I think Kane Stroud scores one late, though, to give him the win. And, yeah.
Yeah, they got to find a way to – I can't remember his last name. They got to find a way to stop Joel from Webb. If they're able to stop him, he's a 6'6" receiver. If you guys don't know, he's a Division I receiver. But, Davidson has had their struggles this year, especially on offense, playing two quarterbacks at times. But the one consistent thing that they've had is Caden Stroud, and he's going to lead them to a victory this Friday.
I agree. I think they're going to try to give Caden Stroud the ball and keep it away from Webb as much as possible. They're just going to grind it.
FRA BGA. Boy, this is a big one too.
I went back and forth on this one so much. Oh, Isaac might with the told you so. I've seen Chris. I've seen both these teams. You and I saw BGA together. You saw BGA beat National Christian. I think where this game for me is going to lie is FRA up front. They've dominated East Nashville up front when I saw them. They're huge. They're young. If it gets into a shootout, that favors BGA, just because you have I forgot their quarterback's name.
Caden
Marble.
Yeah.
Marble.
He's one of the best quarterbacks around. He can lead them. I just think FRA up front, those young guys are improving week to week, and I think they get the job here.
Yeah, this one's tough one to pick.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, if FRA for me, it's that army of sophomores or army of young kids that they have. If those guys can play as good as they've been playing, then yeah, it's going to be close either way. But I'm seeing a shootout. I'm seeing Arnett Hayes going for 2 touchdowns. I don't know. Maribel's going to go off. I'm expecting this to be semi-high scoring, and if it's even semi-high scoring, I think BGA's got this one.
This was a tough game to pick. It's a very tough game to pick. I came close to taking BGA in this one, but just talking to Joe earlier in the year about what that line is like and how good they are up front. I just think they keep the ball as much as they can away from BGA, and they win it on the ground.
Yeah, I sort of agree with keeping it on the ground and keeping it away from BGA. That's why I have a little bit of a lower score. But I'm not going to tell no lie on here. This was a coin toss game for me, and this was a strategy pick.
This is the most excited I've been to cover a game in a few weeks, to be honest with you. So I've covered some duds the last couple of weeks. Admittedly, teams just kind of roll. This is going to be a great game, and it's huge. I mean, if FRA wins here, that sets up that meeting. They're not going to lose for the rest of the year. They'll go into that CPA game unbeaten, more than likely, and that's massive.
Mhm. Jackson County at Smith County. Now you look at Smith County's record and say, why are they on here? Well, they're 1-6, but they also can get a region win that gets them in the playoffs too. This one basically determines fourth place in that region.
Jackson County's record is also very misleading.
Yes.
They have not really beaten anybody that's great. I think their
Yeah.
combined records are like 3 and a lot.
Combined records of the 5 teams they've beaten are 7-24.
Not great. Smith County's played a brutal schedule. Give me Smith County here. I think they get the job done.
I think Smith County is getting progressively better with a young team as the season has gone on. And I think that Jackson County is catching them at exactly the wrong time to be playing the Owls. I think that this team stands a good chance of really creating some havoc on the back end of their schedule. So, yeah, going Owls.
Yeah, this game could find a way to be we talk about shootouts. This could be a little mini shootout here because I think what Jackson County does well, they can score a little bit on Smith County, and what Smith County does well, they can score a lot on Jackson. And that's throwing the football. Riley Martin, sophomore quarterback for Smith County, has had a little bit of a tougher year this year. Anybody would playing quarterback would have a tougher year when you lose, 3 offensive linemen that went over 275 apiece. Tough start to the year for the Owls, but as Scott said, I think they're going to hit a little stretch here where they're going to win some games heading into the postseason.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Jackson County. I mean, yeah, their schedule isn't the toughest, but usually they still don't have one of the toughest schedules, and they also don't have a great record. So it's awesome to see them getting up to 5 wins. Awesome to see them get first win since the 30s against Trousdale. That was nice to watch. But yeah, I think Smith County is much more battle tested. It's in the hole. I think Smith County is really, really upset. They're really looking to get something going, and this is the game for them to get something going.
NBA at Lipscomb Academy, and probably a better game than the records would indicate.
I was torn on this one. For me, it comes down to who plays quarterback for Lipscomb. Starting the 8th grade guy, if he goes out there and balls, he could be the difference maker. Lipscomb Academy defense is still really good. They've just played a hard schedule. They've given up points to some really good teams. NBA, Brooklyn Davis. If LA shuts Brooklyn Davis down, I think the Mustangs win this, and it could be the coming out party for that young man.
Yeah, Ty Snell does not look like an 8th grader at all back there, but he is. I think that NBA's defense will play him tough. I think that Lipscomb's defense is great, no doubt, but their offense has not performed well. I'm going with NBA just because I think that defense is a little bit steadier, and I think they can do enough on the ground to win this game.
I kind of went back and forth in this one. I thought NBA at first, but I lean with Lipscomb's defense here. I think it's a little bit more of a veteran unit that has some really key pieces on it. And NBA, again, without Hugh Price, is not the same on offense as it would be. So that's why I went with Lipscomb in this one. Nashville Christian at Columbia Academy. There's a big one here in Division II Single A.
Could be a preview for hello cat. Could be a preview of the state championship game in December, depending on how things pan out. My cat's about to fall off my table. I'm rolling with Jared Curtis. He's having a great year. Columbia Academy is also having a great year, but they got a difference maker at quarterback who's got that offense rolling right now. They should be a little more rested this week. They don't have the 2 games in 1 week like they did last week, and I don't know if the Eagles lose again this year, guys.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. I think that they're going to put up a lot of points. I do think that they may struggle at times with Monte Baldwin, but Jared Curtis, he's not had to do everything himself, but when he gets TJ Ward here in a couple weeks, it's going to take this offense to another level, and that's crazy to think about because they've been putting up a lot of points.
But
Yeah,
they
I
don't
think
have
it's
TJ this week. And that's why I'm going with Columbia Academy. I think that Monte Baldwin will show out. This is his showcase. I think that Columbia Academy, I picked them at the beginning of the year. I'm going to ride with them. Yeah.
I think you're just coming for that key to the city that Isaac has.
Yep.
yeah.
And he picked against Columbia, so he might.
And
I know. I feel really bad about
race.
this going against my constituency, but yeah, and I picked Monte Baldwin to be Mr. Football this year for single A. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Columbia can pull this one off. I just think it's a battle of weapons, quarterback or running back. Which one's going to be more effective? And I think with a quarterback, you have a lot more options than you do at running back. So I had to go with National Christian.
And finally, we get to Father Ryan and Ensworth. They went out there in Bellevue.
Ethan Utley may be mad at me for even saying Father Ryan scored 7 points on him, but hey, I ain't picking a shutout. Ensworth's defense is just next level good. You could argue they're the best in the state, one of the best front sevens in the entire state. Them in Page right now. Father Ryan's having a great year. They haven't really played a team quite as good as Ensworth yet. Ensworth's a real state title contender. I think if any of our teams is gonna graphics gone. I think if our teams are gonna make a run to Chattanooga and compete with the likes of Baylor and McCallie, it'll be Ensworth. And just give me the Tigers here. I think they shut them down defensively.
Yeah, but I will say if we got a lot of good coaches in our area, and there's a couple of them that don't get mentioned. But what Coach Rector's been able to do at Father Ryan this year, after losing pretty much the biggest portion of his offense with his quarterback and his big receiver that went to Indiana, I believe.
Charlie Becker.
To be 5-1, and to have yourself in a spot to where you're playing Ensworth with a chance to put yourself there on the west side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting yourself in a pretty good spot to be the number one in the West if you're able to win this game. But Ensworth is really good, and they figured some stuff out on offense, which is everybody in D2 AAA's worst nightmare.
Ensworth has a way of making you one dimension. Their defense can get after. I mean, they shut down a pretty good First Baptist team last week. Their running game completely shut them down, forced them to pass. And that when you make a team one dimensional, that creates problems. I think that their defense. This is going to be the toughest defense I think that Father Ryan faces all year. I think that Ensworth is just their defense is just on another level right now. I do expect it to be a closer game. I do expect Father Ryan to have success throwing the ball, but I just don't think that they're going to get past Ensworth in this game.
If it's anybody from our area that gets a state, it's Ensworth. I don't think Father Ryan can stop that front seven. They are monsters. Just standing next to them at a scrimmage earlier this season, they made me feel small, and I'm 6'3". So just like
just comparison stuff. I mean, if we want to do that, Father Ryan went to MUS last week and won 27-21. Ensworth also went to MUS 2 weeks ago, won 42-3.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be necessarily that close, but I could be wrong.
Could see. I hope it's a good game because I'm going to be out there for that Friday night, and I'd like to see a good one myself. But we'll definitely see. Father Ryan has had a very good season to this point, and I think they'll still finish very strong. So
yeah, after that loss, or after they beat BA last year, it just kind of all went downhill. This time they lost to BA, but it seems like they've gotten better. So
yeah,
it's good coaching. Like Cam said, he deserves more praise. He deserves to be talked about more. But
that works. funny how that works sometimes. But we got one more pick to show you, and it's Reggie's Rescue Pick of the Week presented by our friends at the Humane Society of Sumner County. Unfortunately, the streak ended last week. Willow Bean's pick of DeKalb County did not pan out as those Tigers fell at Macon County, making our picks from our furry friends 3 and 4 this year. But how will he fare this week?
This is Bear. We believe Bear is possibly a Spaniel mix, maybe Dachshund, could be Pomeranian, not really sure. He's a very cute little red mutt-ish dog. He is about 4.5 months old right now. He is doing very good with learning potty training outside. And he's a very sweet boy. He does like his food and doesn't like his food messed with while he's eating, specifically by other animals for the most part. Other than that, though, he is a good little puppy. He loves to play, and he's very social and friendly, and probably won't get much bigger, maybe 15 more pounds, give or take, or could stay this size, we're not sure. But he is a really good boy, and hopefully will be house trained here in about a month or so. You see him over there?
Look.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Come on.
You ready? Go get one.
Rolling with the Ensworth.
Oh, he's...
Good job.
Good job, buddy.
Quick and decisive.
Oh yeah. I mean, he
Oh,
saw me put the cookies down and was like staring me down, like, "Hey, man, what's up?"
I love the Scooby Doo collar on him.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Definitely
He
fits.
looks, somebody go and adopt those guys. They are. You're breaking Joe's heart here.
You're killing me.
Mm.
You don't want me to get a house and have a yard, guys. It won't be. I mean, it will be good, but like,
No mailman will be safe.
go get these dogs and cats.
All right, let's get out of here. But before we do, the last word before we close up shop tonight.
Oh, I get the last word. The first of the last words. The first last word. Guys, it's we're coming down into the tail end of the season. Things are starting to really get real for a lot of these teams. Try to get out there and support them as much as you possibly can, and don't forget about that when you watch these kids play, especially the seniors, this is going to be the last time that one of the few times that they take the field. Some of these kids will play on, some of them won't. So, when you're out there in the stands, be compassionate, understand that, a lot of these parents are watching their kids play, and this may be the last year they get to. And same thing with cheerleaders and band members. And, go out and support a team, enjoy yourself, and be civil. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to go out to a game this Friday. I'm going to be going to a concert in Franklin, which will be fun. But, I mean, it's fall break, and it feels like it. It's starting to get a little bit colder. It's starting to feel a little bit more like football weather. We're getting closer and closer to playoffs, which is going to be great. This week, we got a light schedule, but still some great, awesome, interesting games. If you get a chance, you go out and watch some. I just want to say enjoy the rest of what this regular season has, because after regular season's over, if you're not in the playoffs, that's it. Not everybody gets to go to the playoffs unless you're in private school. But it's it's gonna be real fun to watch, and I can't wait to get back covering games next week.
Yeah. I'm going to take the focus off football just for a moment. Guys, it's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If anybody that you know has or anybody has or did have breast cancer awareness, just think about them during this month and anything you can do to help support them. I know I have a few ladies in my life that played a bigger part when I was a smaller child that is suffering from this disease. If you just be mindful of that and wear your pink, right? And not just I think October should be celebrated for all women, not just those with breast cancer awareness. And I want to shout out my wife, Michaela, one of the ladies of 615 Preps that allow us to be knuckleheads on here, got our 4th anniversary on Friday night. So that is why I will not be at a game this week. But love you and happy anniversary.
Well,
now you're making me look bad.
Well. The king is back on top in his rightful spot. Chris is gone next week. He'll get on to that when he's on here. Anyway, I'll be running things next week and Saturday.
God help us all.
Just know the show will be better than it's ever been because I'm running it. I am the champ. Chris is irrelevant in his little stupid judge suit. Enjoy Friday night, folks. If you see it as a game, say hi. But just know I'm better than these guys because I got the belt.
I will not have that kind of blasphemy in my courtroom.
God, I hope you break that.
I'll throw it at you if I have to.
You can like shut his feet off, right?
Oh, I absolutely can. I don't think I won't.
I'll be back.
I may have to make a cameo appearance next Wednesday night. I don't know. I'll figure that out on the ship. Anyway.
Oh, I'm going on a cruise.
Big brother will be watching.
Yes. Just remember, I have the mouse. I have the power. Brought you all here. I can take you out.
You want on Wednesday? You can be on a cruise.
Hey, there's Wi-Fi on the ship, man. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. Anyway, all kidding aside. Love this show. Love what I do with these guys. And, yeah, I am going to be out for the next 10 days or so. I'll be back 2 weeks from tonight. It is in good hands, though, with everybody here, and that's what allows me to do it. I can actually leave and know that they'll put on a show for you that you want to watch, and you'll have fun and enjoy watching. And I will be at Ensworth Friday night. I will not cover any games next week. I'll be out of the country. So, first time in my life.
You're going to Alaska.
I'll be in British Columbia next Friday night.
Okay, that's fair.
I told you this. Nobody ever listens to me.
Get him a map.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you're a Vancouver Canucks fan. You should know where it is.
I'll be out of the country. Goes to Alaska.
I have a passport. Come on, man. Anyway. Yeah, that knucklehead's going to host these shows while I'm gone. So don't let him off the hook. Don't let him off the hook. Whatever he says or does, hold him to the standard you hold me to. And that's all I got to say about that. It's been fun. It's been real. But I will see you guys on, I believe, the 23rd of October. So
it's all right.
Y'all enjoy it while I'm gone.
You keep your cruise ship going. We'll try to avoid putting the Titanic into an iceberg while you're gone.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a way to go. Joe, I thought you hated those glasses.
I'm the captain now.
Oh, great. Now he's spewing Tom Hanks movie quotes.
Okay. Anyway, let's get out of here. Green Hill fans, Climbing the Hill comes out tomorrow night. You want to watch that one for sure. It's the next in our series. We've got 3 to go for this season. For all of us here, 615 Preps, I don't know what to do anymore with these guys. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. For Chris, or for Joe, for Scott, for Isaac, for Cam, for Tyson and KJ, who's not here tonight, I'm Chris. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you
Anchor
later.
down, Bama sucks.
Rattled.
Wow.